Hello, my name is Ashish. The spiritual name given me here is Narasimha. I'm Sat Shree student and I'm participating in a 3-month stay here in Washoe Valley with the residential community. Nearly 30 years ago, when I was 19, I withdrew from a fast-track graduate career path because of a mental breakdown, an incapacitating episode of clinical depression. I'm living in the UK, where I was born and raised. I'm supported by the system of social security, commanding my material means from the support made available there for those living with a lifelong diagnosis of a severe and enduring mental health condition. My diagnosis is bipolarity. Life didn't work for me. I was collapsed by my circumstances into a condition of surrender, ripe for the intervention of the grace. It happened for me. I had a friend at the right time in the right moment, coming up on a tab of ecstasy in my late 20s at Glastonbury Music Festival there in England. A friend who operated as a doorway for the grace, impressing upon me from his own experience of it that I must meditate, and indicating the means from his own lived experience for me to make that happen, saving money for some months from my nugatory income to buy instruction in the TM technique of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Beginning formal practice infused with the grace of a living master in my late 20s, I was empowered to clean myself of addiction to dope, beginning living a healthy life ordered by healthy principles. It happened for me that not long after dedicating myself to the daily discipline of TM meditation, I received the transmission of the Siddha Yoga lineage into my process. Muktananda's successor, Guru Mai, touched me with her grace and entered into my heart. From my inward contemplation infused with the link with Guru Mai in my heart, I understood after some years of immersing myself in participating in the Siddha Yoga community that I couldn't receive what I needed remaining within the confines of how Siddha Yoga operates in the world. I needed to come closer to the person of the Guru. I needed to have a place in the mission to serve it. This wasn't available in Siddha Yoga for me. There was no lacking in the Guru or the practice or in myself, but because of my very particular needs, the drive of my heart and soul, I couldn't get what I needed from Guru Mai, participating with Guru Mai's mission. My link with her in my heart led me to gain benefit from participating in Sadhguru's Isha Yoga for some years, and eventually to enter into relationship with Sat Shree and Satya Mai and New Dharma in my early 40s 6 years ago. It's the same Guru principle that intervened for me from the beginning in my late 20s that continues to shelter and protect and order and inform how I live now. I stopped taking medication nearly 20 years ago now. Not long after I began formal practice with a living Guru, the outward symptoms of my diagnosis have been in remission for about 25 years. Sat Shree trained in India with a guru from the classically orthodox Hindu background. His teaching and his living draws on the context of the Vedic tradition. So there was that resonance to appeal to my focus from the beginning. An orthodox Indian guru tradition, the terminology of the Vedic scriptural tradition. I didn't look for a guru. The Guru happened for me. I didn't seek out Sat Shree. I insisted that Sat Shree happen for me. This is how it was. I met someone in India visiting the location of Guru Mai's ashram during the time I was beginning to withdraw from participating with that community. Someone linked with Guru Mai liked me. We remained in some contact for some time and then dropped out of contact. Some years elapsed and that person from elsewhere in Europe invited me to come to Sat Shree Satsang, an intensive program in the UK, paying for my ticket. He doesn't give formal initiation. The way it works is that you see him seeing you. I knew what I wanted. The principle he embodies and serves responded to my approach. He's my guru. Sat Shree and Satyamai and New Dharma are what I serve. Serving the work, being the means to satisfy the need to be close, the most effective means of the transmission and training itself into the system. Sat Shree has not made my life easy and happy and peaceful and balanced and harmonious. I've not found a place in his community to give expression to the natural gifts from my cultural background that can serve the context of his training, the Vedic tradition. I was never looking for God and truth, not even for peace. My life didn't work. I was doing what I could to make it work. Getting close to the Guru, applying myself to imbibing the Guru's instructions, this is what worked. Although it didn't work to transform the outer circumstances of my life, I didn't get what I wanted in those terms. I only ever got what I needed, some context to get through this next moment. It's always been simple for me in that sense, choiceless. I have nothing available for me to do but make myself comfortable in my circumstances. Working and being a part of the world isn't there for me. Relationships, starting with my relationship with myself, it's not workable in so many ways. I make myself comfortable to the extent I can. The application of yogic discipline is what works to give my days and nights some meaning and momentum. Sat Shree's realization and mastery make him available to bring correct information about the symptoms of the mental health condition I live with. It's the outward appearance of a powerful inner awakening that took place in my early life before my mind was formed. The grace is there for me to live the blessing in this appearance of a curse. His realization and his mastery compel him to be what he is. Practical and grounded and accessible, available to be related to. That's not what draws me to him and keeps me involved. He's a master who can use me. I've taken refuge in that grace. This is what works for me. He's a master who finds use for me in his work. It was in Hyderabad in a satsang New Dharma gave there in 2019 in February that the host spoke of his experience. He said a reliable way to assess the worth of a master is those he keeps around him, that in his experience, the scale of transformation palpably visible in the community close to Sat Shree is a very compelling indicator of the quality of what's offered. This is a community that has welcomed and embraced me. I do thrive participating with the community here. Happiness has always been unimportant for how I live. Adapting myself to the rigors of living with the outward symptoms of bipolarity has conditioned me into this wise orientation to my life. Having low expectations is a successful survival strategy that has worked for me. Sat Shree's work opens up a solid place to stand for me. He said this in a 9-day retreat program 5 years ago. Everything that I do is organized to support people who have participated in my programs, to bring it into their lives, to make it real in their lives. This isn't just go to a retreat. That was great. Go back home and do the same thing you were doing before. This is always a possibility to step into a new paradigm for being and to start taking it into your life, to grow into it, to integrate it, to make it real for you. All of this is for that purpose. You're the one who chooses to take advantage of that. It's really not a teaching. It's a way to be. This is what new dharma means. It's a new way to be, a new way to live that's aligned with the highest good, the highest possibility for you and this world. It's an action. It's not a teaching. It's a practice. It has modes in order to set in motion something that will leap out into existence and propagate itself. This is the solution to all ills. This is the solution to all aches and pains and all conditions, all limitations and questions and doubts. This is the solution to all your little miseries. The solution is to have a purpose larger than yourself. The ego's design is to preserve and protect what it has and to reach out occasionally to enhance itself. This isn't about that. This is about using the ego as an instrument to bring about a new possibility for being, to purify it, to make it capable of stepping outside of its comfort zone, learning the new skills and ways to be needed to do that through the process of throwing yourself out beyond yourself, making a commitment, making a promise to yourself, keeping that promise. In a talk he gave in May of 2019, he spoke of the predicament we're all in. He said, become aware of our predicament. Wake up to the predicament of first being you, the peril of continuing to be you. Because once you do, you find your purpose. You don't want to be that you anymore. You want to find a new you. A better version of you, at least. This work in the universal's no different than the work each of us are doing at the individual level to wake up to our predicament. And when we wake up to it, we begin to gather authority. We gather a quality of embodied beingness that gives us the strength to shift the momentum of our inherited patterns that we've unwittingly allowed to run us. And more recently, in an intensive program 14 days ago now, Sat Shree said this: we have to wake up to the fact that it's just not about us and what we want and what we imagine we want. It's not just about our happiness or the happiness of other people that we're linked to. It's not even about justice or balancing the inequalities. These are really just the most superficial outer expression of a more profound and deeper imbalance. It's about becoming a means for spiritual power to come into us and use our human being embodiment to inject into matter a new vibrational possibility. This is how I live. Offering myself to this context I've received. Becoming a means for the spiritual power that's come to me to use my human being embodiment to bring about this possibility.
Come here, guy.